All right, welcome in everyone to the deep dive. We're going to be taking a look today at a really important topic in the world of AI, and it's the fact that just a handful of major companies are starting to control how AI is actually developed and used. So it's something that we've been following for a while. We've got some pretty fascinating information to dive into today. It really raises a lot of questions. I'm hoping we can try to answer some of those and really just understand the concerns and the possible outcomes of this trend, right?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, the sources we've looked at, they definitely suggest some pretty big changes are coming. Changes that could really affect everything from like our daily lives to the global economy. It's pretty crazy.
So, okay, let's just start with the basics here.
Yeah.
How concentrated is this power? Our sources, they make it really clear that just a few big players, right? We're talking like the Googles, the Microsofts, Amazon, Meta. These guys really dominate the key parts of AI. I mean, cloud computing, the algorithms, the massive data sets that they use to train these systems. It's a lot.
Yeah, no, you're absolutely right. Like these companies, they've got their hands on the steering wheel, right? They've got the resources and the platforms to decide what gets researched, what gets developed. And it's kind of concerning because, I mean, it could push out those like innovative ideas from smaller companies, the ones who don't have the same kind of financial power. They just get overshadowed.
And, this is not just about, who's the most popular kid on the tech block. The information we're looking at suggests this could really reshape the economy. Like we could end up in a situation where these AI powerhouses, they're just pulling in all the wealth and all the opportunity, making it even tougher for others to keep up.
Exactly. We could be looking at this new kind of economic imbalance where AI, it's not just a tool anymore. It's like the main thing driving success.
Yeah.
And it's scary because it's not just startups that could get left behind. I mean, whole industries could struggle to keep up, right?
It's true. And beyond the economic side, there are some real concerns about information control. I mean, imagine these AI systems. They're already shaping what we see and how we understand things,
Mm.
and they're only getting more powerful. But what happens if they start getting used to push certain agendas or like to bury different points of view? It's a little unsettling to think about.
It's really about objectivity, right? I mean, if the tools we use to learn and to get information, if they're controlled by companies who have their own interests, well, then the risk of bias, it just becomes a lot bigger, doesn't it? And then we got to think about the data too. The data that gets used to train these AI. If the data itself is biased, well, then the AI just learns those biases and it can just make existing inequalities even worse.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And it's not stopping there. The stuff we've been reading, it also highlights this risk of more surveillance through AI's monitoring capabilities, which could really chip away at our privacy and, our autonomy. And then there's the fact that AI, it can be pretty engaging,
Mm.
right? But that could lead to people becoming too reliant on these big tech platforms. I mean, it can be pretty addictive.
It's interesting, isn't it? Because these risks, they can actually build on each other. For example, as they gather more data for AI, it could feed into algorithmic biases, maybe disadvantaging certain groups based on their online activity. And then the more we rely on these centralized platforms, well, it just gives them even more power, right? It's a bit of a vicious cycle.
Right. And then there's this idea of economic extortion. And I'll admit, when I first read that phrase, it kind of sent chills down my spine. It's basically this idea that these companies, the ones controlling essential AI services, they could, start imposing unfair terms on us simply because we need them so much. And the scary thing is, if their focus is on profit, well, then the reliability of these crucial AI systems, it might not be their top priority anymore. And that's a little unnerving to think about.
Yeah, and if you take a step back, I mean, if you look at history, you see this pattern, right? Monopolies that control things everyone needs, like the old trading companies, those big industrial giants. Their main focus, a lot of times it was just on making as much money as they could. And sometimes, well, it didn't really work out so well for everyone else. So there's a real worry here that these AI monopolies, they might do the same thing, shape society in a way that really just benefits them, not all of us.
So, I mean, if we put it all together, it's a pretty intense picture, isn't it?
Right.
The information we're looking at, it suggests that a small group of really powerful companies, they could end up having a huge influence through AI, affecting our economies, how we get information, our privacy, and we can even see new types of exploitation. It's kind of like we're facing some of the same challenges we've seen throughout history with concentrated power. It's a lot to unpack.
It really is. And it brings up a question for everyone listening, right? I mean, given these potential echoes from the past and all these risks we've talked about, what can we actually do? What steps can we take to make sure that AI, it's something that benefits everyone, not just a select few? It's something worth thinking about and digging into a little deeper.
It really is. So much to
So
consider.
much to consider.
Well, that's all the time we have for the deep dive today.
Thanks for having me.
Thanks for listening, everyone.